So recently, one of my best friends came up with a very good phrase, and it's called Schrodinger's lolcow. And she explained that, just like Schrodinger's cat, you have people who don't really fit into the original definition of the term lolcow. So they will remain in a state forever where they are both a lolcow and not a lolcow. And I am one of those people, and a best example of this is within the same page of my thread, you will have people saying, she is low IQ, she is like a complete tard, she gets catfished every week. And then you'll have people saying, she can never take responsibility or accountability for any of her own actions. And it's like, well, if I'm a retard, why would I? Why should I take accountability? I'm disabled, right? Like, according to you guys. And it doesn't really make sense, because there will be literal people who will basically try and paint me like Medusa, which is fine because she's slay anyway. But you'll have people saying like, she is the mastermind behind everything. She hacks this place, that place, the other place. She swats people. She hangs out with pedophiles. And then you'll have people saying, she has no friends, she doesn't have a job, she doesn't know how to do anything herself, she relies on everyone else for everything. And it's like, okay, well, which is it? Like, it cannot be both of these things. Like, it just can't, both of these things don't exist at the same time. But that's another thing I want to touch on. I think my favourite, one of my favourite things that people say is like, oh, she can't do anything herself. She has to rely on other people to swat people or dox people. And it's like, well, who gives a fuck? Like, who actually cares? I mean, that isn't true, but if it was, who cares? Because at the end of the day, it's getting done, isn't it? Like, it doesn't really matter if I did it myself or if I asked one of my friends to do it. Because at the end of the day, if I wasn't there either instructing someone or doing it myself, it wouldn't get done. So I don't understand why that's even a W for anyone, because it's like, well, either way, I still have to either call the shots or put in the effort myself. So I don't really understand why that's an own on me. But you have people who will reach into, like, the depths of their mind to try and come up with a win against me. And it's never a very solid argument, right? Like, I mean, I know that there are a lot of people who don't like there's the thing that I have a problem with the most, actually, is I have a lot of friends who all hate each other. Like, I am friends with people who just dislike each other, and the simple way that I navigate that is I just don't snake on any of them to each other. It's really that easy. And I don't know why people can't also do this. There seems to be an issue in the sector where, like, people just feel the need to snake on their friends, and I don't really get that, because as someone who is friends with multiple very conflicting characters, never felt the need to snake any of them to each other. That's just never come into my head. I don't know why people can't also be friends with people who don't like each other and manage not to snake on anyone, but apparently this seems to be hard, and it's probably a men thing, because the sector is so male-dominated, and we all know that men are, like, kind of incompetent. Like, things that women can figure out in, like, 10 minutes, it takes men, like, a good few days. Like, men will have, like, an awakening where they'll be like, oh my god, have you figured out this thing? Like, have you seen this? This is so interesting and so unique. And it's like, yeah, no, I knew about that when I was 12. Like, I literally don't understand men. Like, there will be men in my thread who come to conclusions, and it's like, wow, it really took you this long? Really? The other thing about a lot of people in the sector, because they are men, this has just turned into a rant about men, I'm sorry, but the thing about a lot of the people in this sector that are men is that they're also super fucking sensitive. Like, they're so fucking sensitive. Like, you know when Little Drip made the man hate thread? That's when I got respect for Little Drip, because up until then, I couldn't tell if they were trying to, like, I mean, I couldn't really tell if, like, what the goal was with that account, what she was doing. Like, I thought at first, I was like, well, what if she just wants to be friends with all the people that hate me and my thread? But then it became very, very obvious that she also hated men. And I was like, oh. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine then. And all the men who saw her thread fucking lost it. They lost their shit. Like, there were very, very few sane responses from men on Kiwi farms to her thread. There were very few people who were like, oh no, I see where you're coming from. No. There were men seething and frothing at the mouth. Like, this thread is disruptive. And it's like, okay, but there's been a woman hate thread on Kiwi farms for like however many years. I don't understand why there can't be a man hate thread. This is the other thing about men. They will try and act as if it's inequality when they get the same treatment as women get. And it's like, well, no shit that this doesn't feel good. We've been dealing with it for like however many years. So they're just so sensitive. Like, I can write a small diss at someone who posts about me, and then the next day they will spend like they will write like 6 consecutive posts seething about me and coping. And it's like, wow, dude, if some like random fucking girl who's a Zoomer, who doesn't live anywhere near you, who you're never gonna see in your life, can invoke this reaction from you, I don't know how you deal with everyday life. I really don't. I don't know how you go outside and how you don't instantly end up like having a breakdown. Because the egos of these men are so fragile that it's like, it took a thread on Kiwi farms to have men like in a puddle of their own tears. Like, how do these guys expect to like deal with the rest of society? It's really funny to me because there were threads on like Les Fong Jones and Keffels that had less of a reaction from men than Little Drip's thread on hating men. Like, are men really that pathetic? Is it really that painful if a woman doesn't like you? Can you not just get up and brush it off and go on with your day? Does that not happen? Does that not occur? I don't know. But anyway, that was my rant of the day. That's the thing that I can't stand about all of these men from... They prey on retarded women. Like, they prey on women that they know.
Retarded people in general.
It's a bit of a cell phone, don't you think, Elaine?
Yeah, we're
platforming women, chat.
Yeah, no,
everyone's saying this is awful and they're leaving, but the number's going up, which is always funny to see.